In this video, we're going to look at exponents and integers, problems type 1 and 2. So, to begin with, when we look at exponent and integer problems, you're going to see problems that look like this. Let's start off by doing -5 in parentheses squared and -8 in parentheses cubed. Now, they give you kind of two problems to do as part of like one example of the topic. So I have -5 squared. Now it is really important to pay attention if you have parentheses surrounding your base. Now when you have a power, remember the bottom number there, that's your base, right? And the number that is up in like the top corner, that's the exponent. So the exponent tells you how many times you have to multiply the base to itself. So -5 squared literally means multiply -5 to itself twice. -5 times -5, making a positive 25. Remember, any even number of negatives, meaning here there's two negatives multiplied, that makes a positive 25. Now here, -8 cubed would mean just -8 multiplied to itself 3 times. The first thing that I want to just point out to you is notice, because I have 1, 2, 3 negatives, which is an odd number of repeated negatives, my final answer better be a negative, right? These guys multiply to make, that's a positive 64, and then I have to multiply another negative to a positive, which should, in turn make my final answer negative. Now I have to multiply 64 times 8. That would be 4 times 8 is 32. I'm going to carry the 3 and 8 times 6 is 48. 48 plus 3 is 51. So it'd be a 1 and carry the 5. So it's 512, but -512. Let's look at one more example of the type 1 variety. I'm going to call example B 4 to the third, and then I have -2 to the fourth. So 4 to the third means just 4 times 4 times 4 3 times. It's not going to be negative, it'll be positive. 4 times 4 is 16, and 16 times another 4 is 64. As you get better, you're going to recognize perfect cubes as well. So like 4 cubed, you hopefully won't need to multiply all that out. You'll just know, 4 cubed is 64. Likewise, you might get good enough to where 8 cubed is 512. Okay, that's not one as common as 4 to the third, but still you might get good enough to do that. -2 to the fourth would be -2 multiplied by itself, 4 times. So notice you can pair up the negatives, so you end up with like -2 times -2 would be 4, -2 times -2 is 4, positive times positive stays positive, so it's just 16. Okay, that's type 1. Type 2 gets a little bit trickier, okay, because they're going to try to catch you with your negatives. Example A for part 2 or type 2, let's do -6 squared without parentheses around the base compared to -6 squared with parentheses around the base. Now a lot of students will like totally mess this up, all right, and you're not, because you're going to know that if there are no parentheses around the base, this means the base really is only 6, meaning that exponent is giving instructions only to that 6, and that negative is just sitting out in the front. So it's going to be one negative, and only 6 is being squared, so it's going to be a 6 times a 6. That's what -6 squared without parentheses means. It's going to be one negative times the rest of the stuff being positive. So -6 times +6 stays -36. A lot of students will say that's +36 when it's really -36. On the other hand, I have the -6 now in parentheses squared. Remember, this originally was just -6 squared. That's way different than this one. This guy is saying, hey, the base is -6, so you got to take -6 and multiply it to itself twice. Now that's +36. This is probably the number one most common mistake I see Algebra 2 freshman kids making as they get started with their Algebra 2. And it has nothing to do with Algebra 2. This is all Algebra 1. So hopefully you don't make this mistake. Let's look at one more example. Let's say I have negative 2 cubed compared to negative 3 to the fourth. All right, here negative 2 is in parentheses, so I know I have to do negative 2 repeated 3 times. Now a negative, 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 there's 3 negatives, my answer is going to stay negative. 2 times 2 is 4. 4 times another third 2 is 8, so it's negative 8. Now here, the 3 is not in parentheses. So there's going to be only one negative, and the 3 is being repeated 4 times. So it's a 3, 3, 3, 3. Notice again, there's only one negative. If it was supposed to be negative 3 4 times, this would be in parentheses, but it's not. So it's going to be a negative answer, because there's only one negative. 3 times 3 is 9. These 3's would multiply to make 9. 9 times 9, 81. So it's negative 81. I hope this helps you guys. Thanks for watching.